Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Future and All That Jazz. TERMIS and The Future and All That Jazz. TERMIS has summoned us for December 3 through 6. They want an Edmontonian mix of music and spoken word and science, but not too odd. Stem cell stunts finer in Charlotte, North Carolina. There is much to be gained. TERMIS wants to be entertained. Don't be late for fate. Plan to participate. So I should explain a little bit about the plan. Probably the audience is similar for tonight and tomorrow night. And so we are going to differentiate the two evenings. I'll do much less talking tomorrow night. As a physician, scientist, I'm sort of a more familiar quantity to you, and I want to introduce you to the alternative reality of poetry and music and get you more into that. So there'll be less of me and more poets and musicians tomorrow night. Why are we doing this? In two areas, regenerative medicine and artificial intelligence safety, there are many important messages which most people would not sit still for a lecture to listen to, but you can insert them in poetry and music and still reach people. And so that's the idea behind The Future and all that jazz. We've been doing this since January 2016. We had a particularly successful gig at the Vortex Jazz Club in London, UK in August of last year. And this is the first time at a meeting like this. So we welcome your feedback and hope to have you directly participating. So there are various phases of this. First there's me, there's two poets, and then the band, and then two more poets, and then a break. I think you'll enjoy the break also because it'll be quieter in here during the break. During the break you can suggest prompts to us, phrases or ideas that you would like us to make up poetry and music about on the spot. And we will then do that in the improv section that comes after the break. And then at the end, you can also suggest prompts for tomorrow, things that you would like to see us theme poetry and music around at the NASCAR Hall of Fame tomorrow. So anyway, that's the plan. And I thought I should also confess something that, and this I'm only going to talk about tonight and not tomorrow. We had anxiety about getting our performers across the border because 7 of them are Canadians and not U.S. citizens, and they all made it. So that's fantastic. Yeah. So that's kind of what this first poem is about. And it is entitled, On the Occasion of the Friendly Fat J U.S. Invasion. So Future and All That Jazz is Fat J, F-A-A-T-J. The Future and All That Jazz, razzmatazz. You've heard of cell-based therapy? But what about cell-based poetry? You've heard of tunes of old, but what about tunes of the scaffold? You've heard about the music of the spheres, but what about the music of the spheroids? Borderline with science clout, not border swine worth keeping out of the U.S. of A. We have something to say with music and poetry, world-saving you see. We are 9 strong and can get along with U.S. border authorities compliant with all technicalities. For poetic entrance on 2 December date, and musician entrance 2 days later. Nothing should deter us. No fuss, no muss. Just let us cross, all 9 of us. No poet or musician left behind. 9 is the perfect number to find in Charlotte's TERMIS life-saving infotainment. Please allow passage of this perfect arrangement. The Fat J9, perfect anytime. Okay, so that's it from me. And now we have the first poet, Danny Zip, who is going to be accompanied by Murray, yes.
Hello. Thank you, Kim. That was such a wonderful introduction. And now we're going to have more wonderfulness. And we're just going to check the tuning on the bass here. Yeah. He's got airplane ears right now, so. You ready? This is Atomic Love. I was talking with him about the consciousness of disease and how much of it is in our heads, our brains, our perception. There is a physical limit and boundary, though we are all atomic energy at the core of it all. That's what happens when we're in love, I think. We merge at an atomic level. I imagine it as circular bubbles coalescing, fingers of love feeling each other, nodes of knowingness nuzzling each other, little love licks tickling each other. Love is a perception. Everything you know about yourself or another person adds or detracts from this inner pulsing fire of love that pushes and pulls with yearning and learning. Fire of love will never be put out. It's in the brain, in the heart, in the inside webbing between the fingers. Love burns eternally, universally, and that is where we are bound to merge and emerge, meld and mingle, adding, compounding, exponential love atoms. I was talking to him about the consciousness of disease and how love is the answer. Your mic is on. no harm. Embryonic cells, zips up, groove in my cells, makes me feel well, 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 do no harm.
That's all for us to do.
Let's hear it for Zip. Okay, the next poet will be Royland Picue. Royland, take it away.
Okay, this is inspired by an old jazz classic. We kind of rearranged it. Fats Waller made a song in the 30s, 1935, I think. Anyway, it's called I'm Gonna Sit Right Down and Write Myself a Letter. So our cells hear everything we say and they respond. So I thought, isn't it a good idea to sit right down and write your stem cells a nice love letter? Okay, so here's my letter to my stem cells and to your stem cells too. Sit right down and write my stem cells a letter and tell them I appreciate all they do. I'm gonna write words oh so sweet. They're gonna knock me off my feet with lots of kisses at the bottom. Make my stem cells feel glad they got them. Yeah. I'm gonna say to my stem cells, I'm feeling better. Really groovy, y'all. And I really appreciate all that you do. Oh, I'm gonna sit right down and write my stem cells a lovely love letter and tell them I really appreciate all you do. Yeah, all that regeneration and differentiation calls for celebration and lots of appreciation. All that funky stuff they do. I'm gonna write words oh so sweet. They're gonna make myself feel elite with lots of kisses at the bottom with endorphins. Make me feel glad I got them. Yeah, I'm gonna say, oh, I love my stem cells and I'm feeling powerful better. Yes, yes. I really appreciate all that you do. I'm gonna sit right down and write my stem cells a letter and say, I really regenerate, y'all. Thank you. Oh yeah, Mallory. Yes. Okay, I'm back. You know, we are literally, you know, people, you ever hear the phrase poetry in motion? And I didn't realize how true that is biologically. Because doing a little research, I'm no expert, but there are these stem cells that are called homopoietic stem cells. And they're found in the bone marrow. And so this poem, we're gonna get a little greasy bass there. And the name of this poem is Can These Bones Live? Bass. Can these bones live? Well, let's go deep into the socket, deep into the marrow. Deep, deep, deep into the unknown. Like a pirate, like you know that guy Jack Sparrow? Deep into the bone marrow. And grab a few homopoietic stem cells. And let's take a tour through the body, because the blood is the body's cafeteria. So get ready, y'all, lunch is served. So let's start off with the reproductive system, because if we don't have no reproduction, there won't be any kind of production or regeneration. So as our stem cells work their way through our reproduction system and up through our respiratory system, we have to take a big deep breath, breathe, because every cell loves to be oxygenated. And without oxygenation, there ain't gonna be no differentiation, you dig? So as this homopoietic cells go through the paradise of your body, the body poetic, and through into the mind, into the endocrine system, where you know everything's about that good chemistry, you see? Going through the mind, changing ideas, and reacting and coexisting with other stem cells. The homopoietic stem cells said hi to the retinal stem cells and said, I think we're really having some groovy insights here. And the photoreceptors said, this is a real cool movie, but I think my feet are getting hungry, so down we go, low into that deep bass like that, really low as you can go. Because if you don't have a good footing, you know, if your feet don't fail me now. So we gotta get that blood into the feet, and those homopoietic cells get in there, and they're helping your cells to become pluripotent. And now, you know, you see this embryo, right? The embryo of life from which we all come forth from does not happen without blood. So I ask, can these bones live? Sure they can live, because they're getting fed proper every day. So please write a letter to your stem cells. Make sure that you are poetry in motion, and please nourish, balance, and cleanse. Do it again and again, and we will have a celebration and appreciation of our stem cells regeneration. And that's all I have to say about that. Now dig on them balls, y'all. Holla. Kim Solez comes next. The band next.
Okay, so now we have Mallory Chipman and her band who will do 2 songs, and this is just kind of a taste. Tomorrow you'll get a lot more of this. So Mallory Chipman and I are partners in the future and all that jazz, and this is something that we hope to do at many other TERMIS meetings and other meetings. So we welcome your feedback on this, and that's probably enough for me. Mallory, take it away.
Thank you, Kim. Let's put our hands together for Danny, Zip, and Roy Picu for those great poems. One of our main kind of objectives with the future and all that jazz is to make some of this subject matter more accessible to people who don't necessarily know about these things, and everyone here probably does. But using things like music and poetry are kind of new ways to explore these same concepts. So that's what I've done with this next tune. Kim had commissioned me to write a song about regenerative medicine or tissue engineering, and I sort of thought, okay, how am I going to make a song out of this concept? So I was sort of inspired by the concept that in the very near future, and some people already, there won't be the fear necessarily instilled in people, for example, if they need an organ or some sort of transplant due to a health issue, as there has been historically. And that sort of uncertainty that comes with not knowing how long you will have to wait, and potentially you'll have to wait too long until it's too late. And the peace that will come with regenerated and engineered tissues and organs that will alleviate some of that stress and uncertainty will really be life-changing and extremely an incredible thing for humanity. So this song is sort of built around that concept, and it's from the perspective of a mother reassuring her son as someone who suffered from that sort of uncertainty and fear regarding a lung transplant she once had, and telling her son that he will never have to have that same fear due to the sort of more immediate results that regenerative medicine and tissue engineering can provide. So this is called Regenerative Peace, and it goes like this.
After
Thank you so much. So we're going to pick things up a little bit, but before we do, this is Murray Wood on the bass that you're listening to, Jamie Cooper on the drums, Brent Hansen on the guitar, and this next tune is a song that I didn't write, but it's one that Kim has always kind of found an affinity for because it is conjuring imagery of uploading one's consciousnness, and this is a song, it was originally actually a melody of a saxophone solo played by a saxophonist named Wardell Gray, and lyrics were added later. This is called Twisted, and it goes like this. My analyst told me that I was run out of my head the way he described it. He said it'd be better dead than right. I never listened to his drive. I knew all along that he was all wrong. He had to do the deep five. I was crazy about it, not going nowhere. My analyst told me that I was run out of my head. He said I need treatment, but I'm that easily led. He said I was the type with most inclined when I was glad to go out of my mind. But I was nuts, no more ifs or ands or buts. The day is a time now you read a little bit wild with all my crazy ideas. But I knew something happened, I knew I was a genius. Why it's so strange when you know there's no misery free. You know that it was meant to be. Well, they say little children are supposed to be tight. That's why I got into the bathroom one night. My parents got panicked, didn't know what to do. But I see the crazy things before it came to now. Do you think I was crazy? We were only 3 but I was swinging. The ultimate real. The ultimate Edison, and even an Einstein. So after I was sorry, yeah, but that's good fun. It's just idiomatic, nothing going on in my head. I had a brain on the same road. I used to laugh at you when I refused to ride. I was double your buses because I was just right on. hours run out of my head. That's just a doctor. I think that's you instead. You see, I'm gonna think that's weak and you to prove that I'll have the last laugh on you. Prove it with one hand. I got two, and you know 2 heads are better than one. Thank you so much. We'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, so let's hear it for Mallory Chipman and her band. Yay! I've always liked that last song because of the idea that 2 heads are better than one. It seems to me that's a metaphor that we can use in a lot of different ways. Okay, next is poet Liam Cody. Liam, take it away.
Thank you, Ken. Hello, everybody. It is truly an honor to be here. My name is Liam Cody. I'm a spoken word poet. I've been doing poetry for about 8 years. I've gone all across Canada, and this is my second time performing in the States. It is a real honor and privilege to be here for the first time in my life in North Carolina. So, when Kim approached us with the topics of this convention, me and Dwenamin, who you will see shortly after myself, sat down and researched a whole bunch of stuff. And when we were looking at it, we were looking at it through the context of community, about people coming together. What does regenerative sciences, what is stem cell research, how does that relate to the community? And how does that relate to the body? And this first poem, it examines the multiplicity of the human being. We are mechanical, we are biological, and we are also beings. We are also minds and thoughts and something outside of just the mechanics. So this poem's about that, and also because the NASCAR Hall of Fame is down the road. It's called, well, you'll find out very soon. This is me being a car. This is me being a car. In less than a second, I can go 0 to 60 words per minute. My fuel economy is upper echelon. My metabolism revs at all 6 engines. I'm all-terrain off-roading. Watching Netflix Stranger Things gives me great suspension. I'm always down for a buff and a wax. I may not look like much, but I can get you from point A to point B. As you will see from this poetry, this is me being a car. But I am not a car. In my veins runs blood as blue as oceans. This body of water, of carbon, of calcium. How much of we are suns, burning hydrogen, nitrogen? Dig into the mines of me, find sulfur, find sodium. In the dark I'll glow phosphorus. In the cold I'll melt potassium chloride. And I am silver lining magnesium. I am balloon stretching oxygen. I'm a textbook of compounds. Multi-celled regeneration cycled through the generations. So every 7 years I grow a forest on my plains. Today I am a colony of spruce with leaves persistent enough to hold on all winter long. If I fall, it will be long after the snow. It will be onto dead grass bed. I'll have borne witness to spring's first bloom time and time again. I am not stop-start. There is no key to the ignition, no pedal to the metal, no Jesus take the wheel, no changes. Every 3,000 kilometers, I am no 4x4, I am 4 seasons. A pack of wolves making fresh tracks through the narrow trunks of me, the rivers of me, not tubing, not rubber or piston or transmission, but cells and organs and systems and roots, potted in boots. I am a brain with its deep valleys and deepening sense of self, for I am not just a body, I am also a being surrounded by beings, a bunch of us beings just being, and this is me being a car. it is terribly unconvincing. Thank you. All right. So this next poem, when doing research again, the topic of organ donating and the topic of giving parts of yourself so that others may live comes up quite a bit within these medical fields. And to me, that is such a strong message for community. Such a strong message of sustainability. The fact that I will have use beyond just me being a poet speaking in a microphone. That this physical form has use to other people, and there's a way of living on. So this poem focuses on those themes. I'm going to have Roy join me on the piano. This poem is entitled, If I Should Leave. If I should leave, take my teeth and calcify the soil. Bury them under the crabapple tree, so I may be the bearer of tart fruit. Let me be remembered not for my bitterness, but acrimony. This, my testimony, my tongue as sharp as a switchblade, so if I should leave, let it dull, rest, and oxidize into rust, let it crust. May my hair and nails dissolve into dust. Take my right ear and toss it in the forest. Take my left and place it by the ocean. Let the last thing I hear be the mashup of high tide and bird song. Take my eyes and tie them to helium balloons at twilight. I will have winking contests over the clouds of cotton candy. Place my nose in an O. Henry chocolate factory. Break me down to the cellular, to the molecular. Count up all of my atoms. Let them revert back to the dirt like I was Adam, and leave. And if you should cry, use my tissue as tissue. Play a sad song like Coldplay's I'll Fix You. Know that I'll miss you, though that's not the issue, cause long life and health is all that I will wish you. Take my organs and make something useful out of me. Let them fight another round, coach. And director, take two. Set the scene at the Goodwill, hunting in the bargain bin. This prominent Prometheus torchlight within this body, this vehicle, this vessel. Share it the way I share my words, freely, meticulously, indiscriminately. If I should leave, clone me. Because, why not? Just wait till I am gone. Wait till I have left. I've had enough conversations with myself as is. Also, do not tell my mother. Tell her son is a crabapple tree. Tell her son is listening to the ocean and canaries. Tell her son is staring at the stars, and that he's not that far off. He is closer than he appears. If I should leave, remember, I am still right here. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear it for Liam Cody. So, the last poet is Shima Aisha Robinson, known as Dweneman. And after she reads, we are going to have a 20-minute break, and we're going to collect prompts from you of what ideas, phrases you would like us to spontaneously make up poetry and music about. And some of those we will do tonight, and then others we will use tomorrow at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So 2 pieces from Dweneman, and then we'll have a 20-minute break during which we will collect prompts from you. Okay, Dweneman, take it away.
Check, check, check. Right on. Thank you, Danny. All right. This one is an ode to the purpose of TERMIS. The purpose of finding out more about how to create human well-being from human ingenuity, which is what I've seen going around to all the booths, talking to different people, talking to scientists, talking to Dr. Kim Solez, our gracious patron of the arts, for this evening and tomorrow evening as well. And yeah, this one is called As I Live. As I live, I never heard of such vigor for sought solutions, so much pertinence in search of healing ablutions, the hope for more than hope, the dangling of salvation's length of rope toward the ailing in plain view of well-being. As I live, I had never heard of harvesting the best of us, the cells that code human potential for the rest of us, the ones who made it but couldn't make good on the deal that we might live for long enough to hold forever in our mouths, ready to shout as I live. I have never beheld the genetic instructions for the breath of my body turned into a paste that heals bone, for example, a salve that improves the flow of hormone, adjusts both the overabundance and lack of regenerating cells. The bells are ringing in the vestibules of knowledge. The wells are full behind the eyes of the admonished, for we will not be guilty of causing our own mortal decline. As I live, I never thought the science could outstrip the casualty in actuality, so nestled in faith, yet confirming the way we weep in gratitude for the magnitude of our own sacred lives. There's that. Thank you. This one is a bit longer. That one was a short and sweet, a short ode to the whole point of this gathering, so thank you for listening to that. Yeah, Roy Piku is going to accompany me on this next piece. It's called The Mortal Veil, and it is a sort of an ode on its own. And I'll just get into it. I'm not going to preamble this one. Tap your tiniest toes to the pound of your pulse and feel your feet curl alive, the soles pressing insistently into the floor. Feel the blood of your body being pushed, climbing and trying up your legs to your lungs, pressing air into the potential of breath, even up to the brink of death, as well as waking, regenerating on the level of cell. Nodes of production compel you to inspect the modes that govern them. We laugh and tickle one another in the imagination with the expectations of the unknown, becoming the worn roots, the winnowing periphery, the purveyor of focus upon the pluripotent, where the scientist's mind's will an opening of the vast problem of mortality to imperfect beings. Humans bend the logic that made us into the shape of process, guided by the harvest as ever, tarrying in the elation of yield, regenerating cells, courtesy of pancreas pulled from a willing donor, the proud owner of the generous heart that beat through the mortal veil after guiding the pen-struck agreement that daubed hope into the futures of the ailing and afflicted, that scrawled awe on the face of postmodern human. Post-human ardor clawed the special off our self-regard, leaving the possibility of furtherance of the spirit of life. Let the hybrid thwart the scythe, proving that hands strained, trained, and wielded by minds entranced by attainment can undifferentiate the unit of life. Conjure against the grandeur of death to regenerate the capacity for memory, bereft of experiences more tender than triumph. The sore spots in my brain might be the brightest, and while the public tour tends to stop at the same point that the scalpel grows lightest, I can imagine precision in the human hand hovering, ready to build life back into the vast void of metastasis, the digestive wash over pancreas, which harvests help to convert the killer cells, may well infuse the rest of us with deepened ideas of how to heal the malignancy and human influence on the globe and beyond. Our grasp of cosmos, letting us come to grips with the idea that gave us form from the bottom up. We stare our makers in the face, those lost gods welcoming their descendants to the stars, even as we take the pace of our own careworn, beating hearts.
Okay. So So now we're going to have a 20-minute break, and if you're interested in providing us with prompts for the next improv section of this, please come forward and let us know. So we'll be back in exactly 20 minutes.